Good Saturn Day morning, everyone. Uh, Excuse me being bundled up like this. It's a very cold and foggy day in Sacramento, and uh, I had to get up very early this morning because I had to take a Zoom meeting uh, with a friend in Dubai who is 12 hours ahead of me. And so I've been up early, and after our meeting, I tried to get a quick walk in. So I'm just back from my morning foggy walk. Happy Saturday, everybody! The weekend has started. Uh, we've been going through the rites of Eleusis, Crowley's 7 planetary rituals, and we're not going through them in the order that they were produced, which is descending order of the Tree of Life, which starts with Saturn, then goes to Jupiter, Mars, Sol, Venus, Mercury, and Luna. Uh, but we're doing it according to kind of to the days of the week, so they're kind of out of sequence as far as the chronology of the chapters that these rites represent. But we're on Saturn Day today, which is actually the first of the rituals. Now, I was lucky enough early in my magical career to be given a set of the Equinox, Volume 1, and in number 6 of Volume 1, we've got the rites of Eleusis. And uh, this was sort of the source of our information for many years, and we had to look up the collateral poetry ourselves and everything else. And I don't know if you can see my rough notes there in pencil, including a tree of life where the officers stand and everything else. But it's been kind of a nostalgic trip for me down memory lane, because other things have fallen out of the book, including ads for. This is the 7th year in a row we did the rites. So this little flyer for the rites, the rite of Mars, but also, of course, I was lucky enough in my early polemic career to be friends with Helen Parsons Smith and Phyllis Seckler and Grady McMurtry and Israel Regardie. And somewhere along the line, I got a copy of the Gerald York manuscript, book number 17, and I got 5 pages from that, which contains notes. Now, I can't vouch if that is Crowley's own handwriting, but I believe it is, actually, because Gerald York, his collection, which is, I think most of it is at the Warburg Institute at the University of London. But here are notes concerning this ceremony of Jupiter, the rites of Jupiter. And these notes also helped us as we were producing the rites over the years. So on the second page are the notes for the rite of Saturn. And very interesting things, including things that really inform in a good way the material that finally appeared in the Equinox. But I don't know, quite where to begin. except to remind you that these rites were always intended to evoke a certain feeling, a trance, a particular kind of mystical trance. And therefore, the poetry and the music and everything else that Crowley included might not have too much to do with the actual plot that drives the rite, and but it has everything to do with the mood that it evokes in the audience, the participants, the congregants. And Saturn, being the only Sephira above the abyss, we can't be expected to wrap our meat brains, our Ruachian below the abyss brains, around the profundity of the level of consciousness associated with Saturn and the initiatory grade of Master of the Temple. As a matter of fact, any way that we would even attempt to approach understanding of that level of consciousness would translate to our below the abyss consciousness, would translate in an averse way. So above the abyss, all opposites are reconciled. There are no opposites. There is no duality. So what might appear to us as dark and melancholy and strange and joyless, above the abyss is perfectly joyful, is perfectly happy, okay. All of those are reconciled. By the time it is squeezed through the projector of the abyss down to us below the abyss, black seems white and white seems black, and melancholy is joy. And if that makes any sense, it's like when the magus in number 2 on the tree of life, that's where the word comes in. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. Well, that God that they're talking about is number 2 on the tree of life. And that's where the logos comes. That's the word, the primal vibration that will eventually allow the universe to coalesce around that vibration. And the word that is spoken in number 2 is kind of like heard in number 3, the Master of the Temple. Number 2 is the magus, the word. Number 3 is the Master of the Temple. And all of that's above the abyss. Okay, and Saturn is this above the abyss thing. I'm going to read from Gerald York's notes here instead of reading from the book here. And this might be Crowley's own notes. Rite of Saturn, officers of the temple, Magister Templi, representative of Bina, Saturn. Mater Kelly, or Mother of Heaven. Venus in Libra, the house of Saturn's exaltation. Brother Aquarius, the house of Saturn in Chesed, because Aquarius is water, hope. Brother Capricornus Emissarius, the house of Saturn in Gebura. Now, when he says in Gebura and in Hesed, they're actually talking about the floor plan of the temple is a tree of life. Okay, and the different officers have their place along the tree of life. So when Brother Capricornus Emissarius is in Gebura, he is sitting at number 5 on the floor plan of a tree of life. In Gebura, because Mars is exalted therein. Brother Capricornus. Now there's Capricornus, Emissarius. He's a wild and crazy guy. And there's Brother Capricornus. Now he's in the throne of, or the throne of Capricorn. He is the leader, or is Mars in Capricorn, the leader of the chorus. It says AN's Roman numeral 6, or in the year number 6. Okay, so that's 6 years past 1904. So these notes were written in 1910. Sol in Leo, so probably in late July or August. Then, I don't feel so bad about my Hebrew now when I see, if that's Crowley's, we see an Aleph and a Daleth and a Bet. Now, I'm not sure what that means, but on the tree of life, coming down from Malkuth, or coming down from Kether at the top, the path on the right is the path of Aleph, and the path on the left is the path of Bet. Okay, and the triangle in the middle could be in reference to Kether at the top and those two paths. In other words, that little piece of shorthand right there is talking about the supernal triad of the tree of life. And there, of course, is the seal of Saturn. First, the temple is in light. The probationers only, when admitted, they chant the Capricorn and the Aquarius from 963. Well, the 963, of course, is the treasure house of images, which almost all the rites begin with to sort of set the mood for everybody. And the Aquarius, the Capricorn version is the 12-fold humiliation of God, and the Aquarius is the 12-fold lamentation of God. Very Saturnian and melancholish. I'm just going to read a piece from the Aquarius. I adore thee by the 12 lamentations and by the unity thereof. O woe unto me, my God, woe unto me, for all my song is as a dirge of the sea that moans about a corpse, lapping most mournfully against the dead shore in the darkness. Yet in the sob of the wind do I hear thy name, that quickeneth the cold lips of death to life. Oh, I'll read one more. This would be the one associated with Pisces. Oh, woe unto me, my God, woe unto me, for all my praise is as a song of a bird that is ensnared in a network of the winds and cast down the drowning depths of the night. Yet in the faltering notes of my music do I mark the melody of universal truth. Okay. It's really good shit. Okay. I can't, excuse me for not jumping right into the right, because these notes from Crowley's own material in the York manuscript is there's a note here that says, note, this page omitted by error in printed text. AC's note to insert it was ignored. So this should have been in the text when the equinox was printed. Entry into the temple. 1. These are Roman numerals, bullet heads. The magister of the temple, magister templi, alone. He performeth the rite which he alone understandeth. Now, remember that the title of Magister Templi is the title of the initiatory degree of number 3 on the Tree of Life, Saturn. And its Kabbalistic buzzword is understanding. Kabbalistic buzzword of number 2 was wisdom, okay? But understandeth, so it's not probably a coincidence that Crowley wrote, the Magister Templi, he enters alone. He performeth that rite which he alone understandeth. 2. At his knock, the Mother of Heaven joins him, and they perform the rite of the abyss. That's what it says. Number 3, at her knock, Brother Exempt Adept joins them and performs the act of homage and takes the oath. I'm assuming that it's the oath of the abyss, because number 2 and number 3 have just performed the rite of the abyss. So Brother Exempt Adept joins them. Now, is he Brother Aquarius or Brother Capricorn or Brother Capricorn Emissarius? It does not say. Not yet, anyway. At her knock, Brother Exempt Adept joins them and performs the art of homage and takes the oath. At Brother Exempt Adept's knock, Brother CG, and CG would be, no, that's Brother CE, Capricornus Emissarius, admits the probationers. The Choreagogos, I think I said that right. Choreagogos leads them in a threefold circumambulation, saluting, and begins the adorations. Number 5, at the knock of the Choreagogos, the Capricornus Emissarius, I believe, admits the strangers. EA is standing before the veil as a guard to conceal the master of the temple and the Mother of Heaven. Or EA can go to the door hooded to admit, while CG guards the Choreagogos and the other probationers. Shepherd the strangers. All being seated, Capricornus Emissarius goes to the throne and switches off the light and says, Sequitur ut supra scriptici. Please help me out there. I don't know what that means. Note, in the Equinox number, volume 1, number 6, the part of CG is transcribed as Capricornus. CG, captain of the guard. That explains it. The temple being in darkness and the assistants seated, the probationers occupying the front ranks, let the captain of the guard arise from his throne and knock thrice with his spear butt upon the floor. Master of the temple is in the shrine with Mother of Heaven. Okay, and it continues on. Look at that design. Okay, that is then there's one more note, Equinox 1, number 6, page 16, supplement of the supplement, which is the Rites of Eleusis. Instead of saying, "Behold thy handmaiden," which Mother of Heaven says in the printed version here, Mother of Heaven or Mother Kelly recites in the manuscripts, and then there is a verse in Latin, I believe. And ends up with the word "Filii." And at the end of the manuscript, it says "Telos." Okay. I'm sorry I took so much time with this historic kind of footnote to everything. I thought you might like that, though. You might appreciate it. Anyway, in the rite itself is printed. Brother Capricornus enters and turns off the blue light. Red lamps are brought in by Brother Capricornus and the leader of the chorus. Okay, Capricornus says, "Procol, procol este profani." This is a banishing. And he performs the banishing ritual of the pentagram, and he lights the hell broth. The DuQuettes love big bowls of fire at our rituals. And he sticks his head over the fire, and in the flickering light of this fire he recites, "Even as the traitor's breath goeth forth, he perisheth by the secret sibilant word that is spoken unto death. Even as the profane hand reacheth to the sacred sand, fire consumes him that his name be forgotten in the land. Even as the wicked eye seeks the mysteries to spy, so the blindness of the gods takes his spirit, he shall die. Even as the evil priest, poisoned by the sacred feast, changes its 7 powers to the misbegotten beast, even as the powers of ill, broken by the wanded will, shriek about the holy place, vain and vague and terrible, even as the lords of hell, chained in fire before the spell, strain the sightless steel, break not fetters nor compel. So be distant, O profane, children of the hurricane, lest the sword of fire destroy, lest the ways of death be plain. So depart and so be wise, lest your perishable eyes look upon the formless fire, see the maiden sacrifice. So depart, and in secret flame burn upon the stone of shame, that the holy ones may hear music of the sleepless name. Holy, holy, holy spouse of the sun-engirdled house, with the secret symbol burning on thy multiessent brows. Even as the traitor's breath goeth forth, he perisheth by the secret sibilant flame that is spoken unto death. Now that sets the mood. Okay, they awaken the master of the temple. Okay, he gets up. He said, "Is the Mother of Heaven with us?" Because number 3 is no good without number 2. And number 3 isn't even number 3 without number 2. And that's currently where Mater Corelli is, has her throne. So it's a pair, okay? These guys go together. And the officers, "Mother of Heaven, we beseech thee to awaken the master." "What is the hour?" "Mother of Heaven, it lacks a quarter of midnight. Be it ever unto your desire." Now, Mater Corelli was played by um, um, or Leah Herzig, um, or Layla. She's played by Layla. Okay. Mother of heaven, beloved of the stars, wherefore hast thou awakened the poison of the Eld, the dweller of eternity? And she says, Shabbatai, which is Saturday. And the master of the temple comes down to the hell broth, and recites Dead Pharaoh's Eyes, which is a spooky poem by Crowley. Okay. Well, anyway, the rite moves forward, and Saturn becomes increasingly paranoid. Okay, and here we start sort of to follow the Greek Roman mythology of Saturn being betrayed. First, in the myth, his wife betrays him by giving him a stone instead of the baby Jupiter to eat. Okay, but anyway, Saturn, they're plotting against him. Okay, because the universe, the macrocosm would like to manifest a universe, and Saturn, as long as he's eating his babies, no universe is going to manifest. So he has every reason to be paranoid from his point of view, because he's about to lose his eternity in order to give us a limited universe. But anyway, he gets himself betrayed, and eventually he makes he disappears from his own shrine, and the officer playing him finds an empty shrine where he should find himself, and says, "Alas, there is no God." And everybody in the right is all bummed out. Oh, there's no God. What the? But it's a trick. It's an above the abyss trick of language. There is no God. But anyway, it finally ends up with Saturn is going to end up just completely committing suicide at the very end. But before he does that, he recites this poem by James Thompson from The City of Dreadful Night. And I'm going to close today's talk with that melancholy poem. O melancholy brothers, dark, 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 O battling in black floods without an arc, O spectral wanderers of unholy night, my soul has bled for you these sunless years, with bitter blood drops running down like tears. O dark, 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 withdrawn from joy and light. My heart is sick with anguish for your bale. Your woe hath been my anguish, yea, I quail and perish in your perishing unblessed. And I've searched the heights and depths and scope of all of our universe with desperate hope to find some solace for your wild unrest. And now, at last, authentic word I bring, witnessed by every dead and living thing, good tidings of great joy for you, for all. There is no God, no fiend with names divine made us and tortures us. If we must pine, it is to satiate no being's gall. It was the dark delusion of a dream, that living person, conscious and supreme, whom we must curse for cursing us with life, whom we must Curse because the life he gave could not be buried in the quiet grave, could not be killed by poison or by knife. This little life is all we must endure. The grave's most holy peace is ever sure. We fall asleep and never wake again. Nothing is of us but the moldering flesh, whose elements dissolve and merge afresh in earth, air, water, plants, and other men. We finish thus, and all our wretched race shall finish with its cycle and give place to other beings with their own time doom. Infinite aeons ere our kind began. Infinite aeons after the last man hath joined the mammoth in earth's tomb and womb. We bow down to the universal laws, which never had for man a special clause of cruelty or kindness, love or hate. If toads and vultures are obscene to sight, if tigers burn with beauty and with might, is it by favor or by wrath of fate? All substance lives and struggles evermore through countless shapes, continually at war. By countless interactions interknit. If one is born a certain day on earth, all times and forces tended to that birth. Not all the world could change or hinder it. I find no hint throughout the universe of good or ill, blessing or of curse. I find alone necessity supreme. With infinite mystery, abysmal, dark, unlighted ever by the faintest spark, for us, the flitting shadows of a dream. Oh, brothers of sad lives, they are so brief. A few short years must bring us all relief. Can we not bear these years of laboring breath? But if you would not this poor life fulfill, lo, you are free to end it when you will, without fear of waking after death. Then he blows out the lights. Okay. That's where, on that happy note, that's where we'll leave it today. Tomorrow we're going to do for Sunday the Rite of Saul, and Constance has said she's going to read for us that beautiful poem that Scorpio Apophis, after she takes over the throne of the sun in the Rite of Saul, says. I promised you the other day when we talked about Venus that she'd do it. We're going to hold her to that. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. And cheer up. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.